What's up, gamers? It's Higan here, and today we're going to be talking about Higan Eruthyll. Now, if there's any video that I'm going to get mass dislike bombed, it's going to be this one. And I'm sure I know what you're thinking. Like, Higan, we're 2 hours into its release. What are you doing? Like, uploading this video where you're reviewing the plot. You can't have finished the game in that time. And the answer is no. So this will be more of like a beginner's first impressions, kind of vibe, instead of a full-on, I watched all of Kaguya-sama Season 3, and here's my review, So it'll be like more of like if I just watched the first 2 episodes and like, ooh, off to a good start, or ooh, off to a rough start, So I'm gonna have a couple of negative opinions. If you don't like them, feel free to click off the video, and I understand. Like, I'd imagine many people would share my sentiment because these don't seem to be like many personal problems, except for maybe 1 or 2, but whatever, we'll get into it. So let's address the first one, and possibly one of the bigger points. Is this a Hoyoverse clone? To which I say, I don't think so. One of the most negative things I always say about like Hoyoverse fans is that they always find the chance to be all literally Genshin Impact. Oh my god, that's literally X character from Honkai Impact. Holy shit, it's this character from Genshin. Holy shit. So you can you can imagine how they'd see like the characters in this, because they are pretty similarly designed to Genshin. But I don't think this is a Hoyoverse clone, more in the fact that it's just a cel-shaded anime style game, which Genshin and Honkai kind of have the monopoly on, to be fair. So it's more of, I'd say, just a classic gacha taken a 3D cel-shaded style. And because it's just so hard to make a good like anime game that has realistic-ish shading, because like take a look at Jump Force. It's alright, but it kind of looks like shit, so it's just, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Especially, let's talk about the character system. They're called wishes, and I don't think they're the first people. I don't think Hoyoverse is the first people to make a gacha system based off of wishes. But goddamn if they aren't the most famous ones. This one, again, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Several other games share common like names with summoning systems, so I don't really care about that one. Let's get into the more positive one. I really do like the character design. It's nice and interesting, and it's attractive where it needs to be. There's equal fan service of both men and women. I don't want to say equal, but from what I've seen, there's a good amount of fan service for both men and women, which all gacha games should have, in my opinion. And the 3D models are actually nice as fuck. Like, the expressions are wonderful. I don't expect a lot from 3D models, because I keep expecting us to be like 20 years in the past, where we got fucking Super Mario 64. But the 3D models are genuinely kind of nice. And just overall, like I said, the character design is pretty cool. Pretty spot on. Let's just get into the rough stuff now. So, the plot is a little weird from what I've experienced. So, let's start off with how the game starts. You're on top of a train. If you've played Final Fantasy VII, you know the scene where you're trying to like stop the train to get the giant materia? That's pretty much what happens here. So you're trying to, you're just on top of the train, you're fighting. I think it's a train, I could be wrong. Either way, you get the idea. You're on top of something, you're fighting, you're throwing hands, your team members are all throwing swords at each other, and then you step in as the main character, which is rare in a gacha game, a main character stepping in. You step in, you do this thing, you switch between you and your inner god, I guess. Goddess, sorry. And then you get pushed off of the train, you fall to your death, you're all like but it all changed the day I became the director. And now, keep in mind, I was having some audio trouble, so I wasn't able to hear like a bunch of the weird dialogue that happens. So if there's anything I missed in the battle fights or the battle like talks, I'm sorry if this all just makes no sense. But even so, I think my point still stands. You'll see what I mean. So he's like, it all changed the day I became the director. And then cuts to him in Amnesiac and talking about, I remember this genocide. I remember crying. I remember this. I remember flames. And then cuts to 3 girls walking in the room. They do a lot of cutting. Cuts to 3 girls walking in the room. They're like, hey, nice to see you're up. And then they introduce themselves. They're like, oh, it's so cool to find a fellow castaway. And they're like, anyway, come look at this funny little orb, or funny little disc. Put your hand on it. What does it do? They're dragged into the Genshin title screen. That's a joke. They're dragged into some weird realm. There's a Sailor Moon joke, which I don't even know if it's legal. Hold on, I should Google something. Is Sailor Moon public domain? Let's see. Is Sailor Moon in the public domain? We'll figure it out right now. Okay, I don't think it is. So, I don't know if they're allowed to make a Sailor Moon joke because it's China, but whatever. So, that's it. That's your first introduction to these girls. And it's alright. These weird Cubase creature pulls up. She's like, haha, we're gonna turn you into Sailor Moon. And then he's like, do I turn into Sailor Moon? She's like, don't even joke about that. Then you go, she's like, haha, you freed me. You know? Sorry, I should explain what happened there. The creature, Cubase, turns into Asmodee from Genshin. And then she makes your teammates go bye-bye, and then says she's gonna keep you there forever because you're weak and doesn't want you to die. And then the goddess Eruthyll drops by, says fuck you, takes away her power, and is just like, get him out of here. And by the way, at this point, for some reason, they call him director already. This is the problem. This is the whole reason I brought up this whole plot. It all changed the day I started being called director. And like I said, this is why I brought up the battle talk thing. If this is some sort of battle text that I missed because I was too busy, like, attacking, my bad. But, like, what was it? It goes, it all started the day they called me the director. Or the day I started being the director. It goes back in time to when they first met him. They don't call him director. One battle later. Don't call him director. Another battle later. They call him director. What did I miss? There was no in-between where they talked about, hey, you should be the new acting director for Gopher Troop. But whatever, that's a long time to explain one bad point. And let's go to the next part of the choppy plot point is, when you start up the next one, they just start explaining everything really randomly. Like, they just toss you in raw, no rubber into this fucking world. They don't explain a lot, but they explain the stuff they do explain, they explain fast. So you better pay attention, or else you're gonna be just as confused as I was. I'll just say that's that for now. Actually, the plot does go by really fast, and they bring up a lot of points that they never even talk about beforehand. Like, Ruko has a sister who hates her. She just pops up, she's like, oh, sister! And I'm like, there's not enough setup and payoff for that to be a revealing moment, you know? It's not like Yae being all, I'm servant of the Raiden Shogun, and I want her dead. It's weird. So, my thoughts on the combat are just, it's slow. I think that starting off the game is always the worst part about combat, so I won't speak much on that. It has an interesting system, though. It's not turn-based, it's just like time-based, so it's like an active battle thing. And I think I already explained this, but there's some good potential for an interesting story/world, but it's just kind of poorly explained upon. They just kind of toss you in and they expect you to know about this, you know? like, they toss you in and they start telling you about fantasy lands. They start telling you about Crystallis Townflots. All this, like, lore building stuff. But they don't elaborate on it, or they don't even start about it. Crystallis Townflots, to be fair, was already elaborated on because it's an interesting plot point. But everything else is just, fuck it, we'll toss him in. Whatever, he's good. I think that it just can use a lot of work. Especially, like, some of the translations. Like, there's a bunch of grammar errors, which I'm not about to start, like, this war over grammar errors. I think that they need to be fixed if you want to have your game look polished, but I don't think you necessarily need every bit of grammar triple checked, you know? But whatever. So, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I'll try getting back into it, but for now, I think my space is better off going towards, like, something else. Maybe Dislite. Maybe I'll hop back into Dislite. Whatever. Thanks for checking out the video. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. I have got way more reviews coming up, especially considering the Mario movie's out today. So I'm gonna go see that 2 days, you know? And, yeah. Like I said, thanks for dropping by. If you made your way over here, welcome to the channel. And, we'll catch y'all later. Adios.